in the 70s, when Roberto Clemente was at the height of being a superstar in baseball, he was the first Latino, Hispanic superstar, and he gave rise of hope to the young men and women that played on this ball field. They believed that a Latino could be a superstar and that they could be a superstar. In 1972, Roberto Clemente chartered a plane to take supplies and foods on a humanitarian effort to the victims of the earthquake in Nicaragua. They had nothing. And he flew there on that fateful night to take them the supplies, and unfortunately there was an accident and the plane crashed. But it was the efforts of folks like Roberto Clemente and Feeding Tampa Bay that don't forget that wherever people are, whether they're here in Tampa Bay or whether they're victims of disasters, they're here for us.
Feeding Tampa Bay's mission is very, very simple. Our first and greatest goal is to make sure that we have a meal on a table where there's not one available. Many working families and other folks in our community struggle with having enough access to healthy food. Our first job is to make sure that we put a plate on a table where one is needed. We also serve a much larger role in the community in that we're that connection point for all nonprofit organizations that work in the hunger space, and we make sure that that overall organization works comfortably and effectively in Tampa Bay. I was a young man starting to follow baseball when Roberto passed, and I remember getting his 3,000th hit. I remember, of course, the sad story of him passing, but more importantly, the idea that his plane was laden with as many goods as possible in order to help the folks as much as he could. And for all of us, that's a legacy that I think is really important. It takes the brave and the courageous and the willing to make sure that our community gets better. People like Roberto Clemente, but also the legacy of the Rays and the community remind all of us that great communities take care of each other, we support each other, and we make sure that we lift each other up. For those of us that do the work that we do, there may be no greater impact or moment that is important to us than a night like tonight where we can go out on the field. The Rays will, of course, recognize the work that we do and the partnership that we have. And it's our opportunity to stand up proudly and say this is who we are and what we do and why we do it. And so tonight, for all of us that are involved with food relief, with the idea that we need to take care of our neighbors, Feeding Tampa Bay couldn't be more excited than to be a part of that.